First grade. Today for our new math facts, we are subtracting eights. Okay, subtracting eights. The same rules apply that have been applying. Okay, nothing is really new. The big thing to remember is that when you have these larger numbers that you're subtracting, the tendency is that we want to start making 19 bubbles or 14 sticks or whatever to try to subtract all these. And the reality is, first grade, we oftentimes start making mistakes when we do things like that. So my suggestion for you is to do one of two things when you're working with these subtraction facts. My first suggestion would be for you to make your own number line. And you go up as far as you need to. In this case, 19. But it's going to be important that if you're actually making your own little number line, that you don't mess up and miss a number. So just double check, be careful when you're writing your numbers, that if you do that, that you don't miss any. Okay? That would be my first suggestion. Because then if I have 14 minus 8, I can start at 14 and I can count back 8 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I would see that 14 minus 8 is 6. The other thing you can do is obviously use your red folder. Really, truly, your red folder is your resource for so many things, friends. And I'm nervous that some of us may have lost it or it's completely ripped or whatever and we've gotten rid of it. But that's your resource to help you. There's things all over that folder that will be helpful to you. But that 100 numbers chart on the back is really priceless. So a 100 numbers chart would be an amazing help for you. So just keep that in mind as you are going through these facts. So remember that anything minus itself is always going to be 0. Anything minus itself is always 0. 9 minus 8, well, any number that's right next to each other on the number line when you count is always going to be 1 because you only have to jump one spot to get there. You only have to count one space. There's only one number in between, and that's the difference. That's what we're trying to find out with subtracting is the difference, meaning how much space is there in between those two numbers. If we have 10 minus 8, see, the other week I was trying to explain to you that when these numbers are actually really close to each other when you count, it's sometimes easier to start at the smaller number and count up until you get to the big number. So with 10 minus 8, I can start at 8 and I can count until I get to 10. 1, 2. It took me 2 jumps. 1, 2. It took me 2 jumps to get to 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. Now if you say, Mrs. Friedrichs, I'm not really sure if that's true. Well, start at 10 and go back 8 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you notice we got the same answer? Because that's what we're doing. We're looking for the difference. How many spaces are in between those two? Now, if I jump down to some of these bigger ones, all of these would be really great to just count from 8 to 12, figure out how many spaces. Remember, when you're counting, you don't count the 8. 8 is your starting point, just like 12 is your starting point when you're counting backwards. So start at 8, count until you get to 12. 8 does not count. So 8 is like your fist. That's your starting spot. 9, 10, 11, 12. What did you get? Yep, you got 4. Now down here in some of these bigger ones, you can do the same. You can start at 8 until you get to 17. Or you can start at 17 and go back 8 spaces. Now, if you don't have your 100 numbers chart and for whatever reason you didn't make yourself a number line, you can use your fingers. You clearly don't have 17 fingers, do you? You have 10. You don't need to say, oh, I got to figure out how to make 17. You just need to be able to go back 8. Just go back 8. So start at 17 and go back 8. Okay? I like to I like to do it this way: 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. When I don't have any fingers left, that has to be my answer. So 9. 17 minus 8 is 9. Okay? 18 minus 8. Holy cow, if I look, I see that this one spot, this is ones and this is tens, right? This one spot's the same. 8 minus 8, I already know is 0, right? There's nothing in the tens. Then 19 minus 8, that's going to be 11. Because 9 minus 8 is 1, and there was nothing in the 10 spot to subtract. Okay, now that you've done that side, you're going to do your wrap up. The goal is for you not to look at the other side when you're doing your wrap up. So that will be my suggestion. I want you to try it. Just give it a try. Start at 16, take away 8. 16 take away 8 is 8. Also remember, friends, and then wrap around. Also remember that your answer plus what we're subtracting, when you add those two numbers up, it has to give you your big number. So if you're realizing that they don't add up, then you're going to know that something's not right. 18 minus 8 is 10. And then wrap it around. 8 minus 8, ooh, I know that one. Wrap it around. 17 minus 8, 9. 9 plus 8 is 17. That's how I know my answer's right. And then you're going to go ahead and finish filling that out. On the back side, if you have the wrap-ups, if you have the 8 wrap-ups, go ahead and use them. I'm having a hard time remembering if the 8s got put in your folder from this week or if they're in the folder for next week. So if you have the 8s that got put in, go ahead and use them. If they're not, then I just want you to do some extra practice with them at home next week, okay? On a side note, these wrap-ups are for you to use. So keeping them in your manila folder with all of your, in your manila envelope with all the manila folders is not going to do you any good. Those should go into that math bin that I gave you. Remember, that math bin is going to be coming back to me with all the supplies that I've been giving you. So please know where that bin is. Please make sure that you have that bin. Please make sure that that bin has all the stuff I've given you, because it's important. Don't start taking things out, putting them in book bags. That's how things get wrecked, or that's how things get broken. That's how things get lost. That's how things get thrown out. So make sure that all those things stay in your bin. All right, on this back side, if you have the wrap-ups, do it, and then do column A. If you don't have the wrap-up, then you're just going to go ahead and do column A. Then come and do column B second, and then column C will be third. When you have taken the time to do lots of practice with your math facts this way, then you'll be done with math facts for today. I also want to talk with you about your problem-solving worksheet for today, because what we do once every 10 lessons is we try to give you some ways that you can problem solve, okay? And some ways that we've talked about making pictures, and we've talked about organized lists. We've talked about acting it out, logical reason, looking for patterns, like when we did the beads, right? And guess and check. Well, today we're going to be talking about making a table and looking for a pattern. So here's what it says. Let's understand what our story wants, and then we can go through and figure out how we're going to solve it. The children in Ms. Kame's class are making books. The children will use 5 pieces of writing paper for each book. Show how many pieces of writing paper Victoria will need to make 6 books. Okay, so for each book, they're going to use 5 pieces of paper. They're going to make a total of 6 books. So I'm going to be making a chart today. And in my chart, it's going to help me with a pattern. I'm going to go ahead and put that we're doing 6 books. This is the number of books. And this is the number of pieces of writing paper. For each book, it needs 5. So something tells me that I'm going to be counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and I could keep on going, couldn't I? But I don't think I'm going to need quite that many. So if there's 1 book, we need 5 sheets of paper. If there's 2 books, that means that we're going to be using 5 and 5 more, right? Each book would have 5. Book 1 would have 5, and book 2 would have 5. Well, we don't need to do 5 plus 5. We can just count by 5s 2 times. 5, 10. So for 2 books, it's going to take 10 sheets of paper. What about with 3 books? Well, that means I have to count by 5 3 times, right? Count by 5s 3 times. 5, 10, 15. So let's take 15 pieces of writing paper for 3 books. That was 5 plus 5 plus 5. 1, 2, 3. Each book needed 5. Okay, I'm not going to keep drawing that out, and don't write that in your box. I'm just trying to make sure that you understand and can see. Okay, now if I have 4 books, that means that I have to count by 5s 4 times. So what's my pattern down here? My pattern is that I'm counting by 5s. My pattern is I'm counting by 5s. My number of books goes up by 1. Down here, my number of pieces of paper, we're counting by 5s, and it's going up by 1 group of 5 every time because this is just going up by 1 book every time. 4 books, we need to go up 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 10, 15, 20. 5 books. We need 5 sets of paper, right? 5 sets of 5 pieces of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And 6. 6 books means we have 6 groups of 5 that we're counting. Whoa. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, that's 4, 25, 30. 30 pieces of writing paper for 6 books. So, how many pieces of writing paper will Victoria need to make 6 books? She's going to need 30 pieces of writing paper. Okay, 30 pieces of writing paper. If you do not have your name and the date on your paper, can you please make sure that you do that as well? Remember that it's February 19th, 2021. Notice I just abbreviated February, capital F-E-B, with a period. You can do that. Or you could write 2/19/21. Or if you wanted to fully write out February, remember I like to say February, F-E-B-R-U-A-R-Y. That's how you'd write out February all together. Put that paper over the back side and let's see what it wants us to do. Put your name on the back side. I think we're going to do the same type of thing. Looks like we're going to make a table. I can see that by my sheet. Okay. The first thing I need to do is understand my problem. So I need to know what it's looking for. So in order to do that, I need to read it, don't I? So let's go ahead and read it. The children in Mrs. Clausen's class are making greeting cards with movable eyes. Ooh. The children will use 2 movable eyes for each card. Show how many movable eyes Tyrese will need to make 6 greeting cards. Okay, so we know that we're going to need 6 greeting cards. So I can fill out that part. This is our end goal right here. And we're going to use this table. Now, you might say, oh, I can just write 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. Because each card needs 2 googly eyes. So each card needs 2. Okay? So if there's 2 cards, how many eyes is that? 2, 4. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Ooh, just counting by 2s, right? 2, 4. What about 3? What if I have 3 cards? I need 2 more Google eyes, don't I? 2, 4, 6. Yep. What about 4? 2, 4, 6, 8. 5 cards? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And a 6th card here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so how many movable eyes will Tyrese need to make 6 greeting cards? 12 eyes. Or you could write 12 movable eyes. Okay, now I just went through that with you because I wanted to make sure that you understood that. So when you start seeing things like this on our work, or when we're starting to do more with this, it should be really nice and easy for you. What I do want you to do, though, is I want you to take the time to circle the problem-solving strategy we used. Think about what we did. Look on the front side if you need help. And I want you just to write me a sentence at the bottom explaining how you got your answer. How did we get to this? What did we have to do? We had to count by, okay? When you are done with this performance task worksheet, front and back, as well as your lesson worksheet for your facts, you're going to be done with math for the day. Have a great day.